body image in next
Body image?
generation. Yeah.
What's that?
Body image?
Oh, body image.
Yeah.
Body image. Oh, yeah. Well, we did that in the beauty
Yeah,
myths, didn't we? A bit in hunger.
yeah, but like body image to like, do we actually feel like comfortable, and do we can what we can actually pass to next generation?
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Plastic surgery's gone through the roof. Men and women all over the world are spending a fortune on it, changing what they look like. But the thing is, they tend to change what they look like to look like somebody else. That's where the image thing, like the beauty myth comes in. Very few people walk in and say, my nose is the wrong shape, I want it to look like this shape. Most people will say, I want Jennifer Aniston's nose, I want Alec Baldwin's nose. It's like they're trying to turn into someone else. So maybe the trouble with body image isn't so much the image as the fact that it's the identity beneath it. People aren't trying to change what they look like, they're trying to change who they are by how they look like. Because, I mean, everyone's always complained about airbrush images, aren't they? They're always on about the magazines, but we still buy them. These things sell in droves. Gossip magazines, beauty magazines, they sell millions, billions. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Fashion, for example, most of the models who model clothes for women look like a tiny proportion of the population of females on the planet. Look like that. But they're the ones that are used as examples for what the clothes are supposed to look like when the women buy them. So it's kind of, the whole thing rotates around the fact that we've got identity. And most people with body image issues have identity issues. Like, for example, the Hunger, Oksana Gay, she put on all that weight, not because she wanted to be enormous per se, or because she particularly wanted to look like that. She was doing it in reaction to the trauma that happened to her. When she said, you get pictures of her when she's small or young, she was a little, slim, pretty, dark-haired black girl everyone thought was so cute. Then she basically turned herself into something men wouldn't look at as a defence. So the identity issue is the key. I mean, when you go right back to the very beginning of it, why do people like looking at images of other people? What is it we're looking at when we look at images? I mean, okay, there's an element of sex in it as well. But when you think about it, the vast majority of people buying, say, magazines, fashion magazines, are actually cis women. So they're not really a sex motive per se. What the motive is, they want to have that person, they want to be that person. So what is that? What is that element? What is that? That's the key to it. You look at the extremes to try and get the pattern, but what makes women buy the dress of another woman? Because they think they're going to capture what they have. Or so I think body image is actually an identity issue rather than that, which is why they've singularly failed to correct it. They say we shouldn't use airbrushing. Airbrushing's not a symptom or even a cause, it's a tool. Airbrushing just means you look perfect on the cover of a magazine, which is the best you're supposed to look because they want to have a pretty face to sell a product. But why other people, normal people, want to go to those lengths is the key. So I think identity is the key to image rather than anything else. Both the people. I mean, the people who sell it as well, they're in trouble. Look at all these young actresses and actors. Most of them have been on diets their whole adult life. You know, they've never had a time in their life where they weren't counting calories or eating grapefruit in the moonlight or some other cure for their problems. What do we as people get from it? I mean, we know it's caustic. Image and identity are synonymous, I think.
I agree, but I want to take it like one step further, but by saying that so there's nothing there's nothing wrong with identifying with someone, but the problem is the process of identification should have like been finished in a person's at the age of 5, but it didn't, or that person couldn't identify with a like a constant what can I say I don't know, with like a person present in their lives like all the time, so they can so that the process of identification with that person could be completed without without any disturbance. So it didn't happen, and right now, like in their adulthood or whatever age that they are in, they are trying to identify with a person that they are that they like. So I think that's what's wrong with this problem.
Now the thing is, it's not just people with psychological problems, Sunista. Everybody does this. Just think that it's a strange phenomenon that people give up their identity so freely. Everyone's terrified of identity theft, yet we give it away at the drop of a hat.
Well, much like Roxanne in the book, back when I was in school, I wanted to gain weight. I wanted to be bigger, and I did that because of bullies. I wanted to make sure I was larger, and if I was bigger, more muscular, whatever, my thought was they would leave me alone.
Which is true, they would have
Yeah.
done. Yeah, so it's subtle, isn't it? But
Yeah, I think that everything starts in school when actually the person is like around from 5 to 10, because that's the worst age. Well, even in my case, that was the worst age. But and then in that time, the parents must like explain to the kid, and they must be very careful to explain it, because in that age, the kids actually see going to school that this girl is like thinner, beautiful, and then when the kid came home and saying to mom, dad, or whatever, that she wants looking the same like my colleague or something, the parents must just like literally explain that you are beautiful, you are
Okay,
like
you are.
original. Yeah, so why you won't change something? Because they must feel secure from the time when they are little, and then when they are older, like technically nothing bother you anymore. Like I have in school, I have problem. I have bullying, like because they was teaching like, oh, you are like you are kind of fat. You have bad teeth, or you are ugly. So something like that. But in like when I get like older, right now you can tell me anything and I say fuck off. So
that's good. Yeah, I mean, like, there's good things though, because I was talking to my nieces and nephew up in Scotland, and one of them, she's got a friend who's like known for years as a boy, and I said, "Oh, are you going out together?" She goes, "No, we're just friends. So we've been friends for ages." And I goes, "Oh, just like Harry Potter." Now, in my generation, it was very difficult for a man and a woman to be friends. They were either exes, boyfriends, they mutual friends. The idea of having your best mate being the opposite gender was unheard of. It just didn't seem to happen. So, but times change. I mean, like J.K. tapped into that. She had Harry. That's why I love the fact that Harry and Hermione weren't dating. They were just really close, but they were friends. And that was a big step forward for a lot of things, because there's a lot of, I mean, I'm going back, like I say, a lot of kids, there's a sexual dynamic. You've got young men killing themselves, taking steroids at 13, so they want a six-pack, because the girls in their class will only go out with a six-pack, and girls are getting into cosmetics at 8 because they want to look gorgeous before they go to primary school. And that kind of thing has got a little bit nuts, because everybody's trying to look like some ideal version of something else. And whereas the irony is, characters like Hermione, who everyone's, I mean, there's a mishmash in there between identity and image. And the thing is, if someone fixes on a part of your identity which is positive, then that's great. You have a positive role model. If someone fixes on a part of someone's thing that's negative, then they get a negative effect.
But
like that old
hon-
adage,
honest-
you can't be
honestly,
beautiful and clever.
honestly, I don't trust I don't trust women or even men who looks better than women, because that's case you can actually see the metrosexual. I don't trust people like that, and the woman who looks like Barbie dolls or
But then
something, because
that's the thing.
they normally are thick.
Well,
Like
see that's a prejudice, because it's not true. There's absolutely no look. There's a girl called Rachel Riley on TV. She's
no,
utterly
but
gorgeous, but she's very smart.
I don't talk about that kind of people. You see, like blonde girls, like on high heels, and normally what they take about what they take like solution on it is like they mash up the hair. They like sitting long hours in like
But then
washrooms, whatever.
that's what they thought,
But
though, isn't it? That's an image thing. I mean,
I know
there's
it's like women just sometimes need makeup because that's
yeah, but
how that need. But
it's the image, isn't it? The times, like there was a famous actress called Hedy Lamarr. You might have heard of. She's a lot of black and white movies. Very pretty, did the pretty girl, all of that. She actually invented a component that made the Americans' wartime radar system work. She was brilliant, but when she was brilliant, she said nobody looked at her. She never got anywhere. She couldn't get a job. She became a movie star because she relied on her looks, and that gave her the money to do what she actually wanted to do in the science. Now, she kept that quiet, and it stayed quiet for years. Nobody knew this. So the thing is, that's a prejudice as well. Lots of people assume if someone's attractive, they can't be clever.
well,
It's no
it's
written rule.
it's one explanation. If you believe in yourself, if you believe
Yeah.
in yourself, then you become more confident, and
Exactly. Yeah,
and then your life is easy going.
well,
Because
yeah,
if you feel
confidence is
confidence about yourself, then it's like nobody's gonna be bother you, and like
No,
not even
yeah.
slow.
The only thing I think is a problem is, like you said, we have to be careful to tell people what the phenomenon is. So say, look, yes, she looks really gorgeous, but she really did spend 4 hours and 6 people to look like that. She isn't going to go and get the shopping tomorrow and look like that. So there's no harm in enjoying it like a work of art, but you don't have to emulate it, and you don't have to look like that all the time, because these people you're looking at in the magazines, they don't look like that all the time. In fact, half the time, the only time they ever do look like that is when they're doing a magazine. So it is education, it is confidence, and it is the fact. Also, it's judging books by the cover, like Agnes just said. People do that. If some guy's handsome, and like look at that 50 Shades of Grey, that guy, the Christian Bale, whatever his name is, he's handsome, talented, rich, and people love that. But if you've got a woman who's gorgeous and intelligent and rich, she gets nothing but resentment. Because that's a very patriarchal thing as well. Men being attractive and successful is almost seen as okay. But if a woman's really pretty, she has to be stupid. Because that way she's somehow balancing the scales, making it okay. All right, she's gorgeous, but, she's no chess champion.
But you know what? We must technically what's supposed to be changed is like they must start like promoting more natural looks. Even the newspapers, the papers who promote fashion like Vogue or
yeah, but they don't sell,
this-
do they? That's the thing. People
yeah,
have tried.
but they must
People have
start.
tried.
Yeah, they
they
must.
forced it,
Well,
it would.
Yeah,
it is
money
some companies who start doing like commercials about like using like natural beauty, because that is affects the young people, because they watch like newspapers,
then
they watch the
it's
commercial, and this
but it's,
woman is like beautiful, thin, and I
but there's
want to
a-
be some.
There is a flip side to it. For example, it's what people want. There's a Rose, the name is. I can't remember her last name. She's an actress and a model. Very pretty. She's basically a celebrity. So Marks and Spencer's clothing line was having some trouble. They weren't selling like they should. So they took this lady, They put her in the clothes, they stuck her in magazines, they stuck her in posters, they put her on telly. Marks and Spencer's clothes sales got turned round. If someone like, one of the Gurkhas had been trying for literally 100 years to get pensions in the British Army, even though they were serving soldiers most of them their whole lives, they didn't get it. So Joanna Lumley, a famous British actress, stood up for them, went to Parliament, fought their battle, and they got it within a year. So celebrity and image has power. And the trouble is, if we say we should, let's face it, if we made all the magazines ordinary, what's the point? Why would you buy a magazine to look for someone who looks like you? What would be the point of it? You see the image and the aspiration thing. If you said, this person here this is a model, she just looks like you do, you think, well, why is she in the front of a cover and not me? Yeah, so there is a kind of, it's not really what I'm saying is, it's like Tranista said, it's not actually the bad thing, and it's not the industry's fault. They're not creating this. There's a big illusion politicians like to sell, particularly Trump, that the press somehow creates the world and the media is to blame. The media has certain biases, but it is in fact a mirror. They only show us what's out there. The reason why these magazines are full of these images is because people are buying them. We all are. People have tried to tame it down. And actresses have complained. Some of them had posters changed where, I think it was, there's a movie where an actress was in it. It was for, I think it was Men in Black 3. And there's a poster of her standing there. And she's got these breasts that are like out to here. And this black uniform outfit she's wearing. It's a very beautiful woman, but these breasts were huge. And she said, these are not my breasts. I just do not look like that. So every man in the Pulitzer is a life-size, is a painting, looks just like him, but I look like someone completely different. So they made them take it down. Those are extremes, but there's still, let's face it, we go to the movies to see interesting and good-looking people. And the reason the movies are made with good-looking people, since their early exception, is because that's what people want, men and women want to look at. They've done studies on news things and sports channels and found that both men and women respond more positively to messages from good-looking women. They just do. It just seems to be some biological imperative. Now, as I said, you might not be able to change that or even want to, but what you can do is make sure, like in school, like you said, Agnes, when kids are being educated, they're taught the difference. Like when you say, this is fiction, this is fact. Your favourite TV show, My Little Pony's great, real ponies are not pink and they can't talk. Same thing. You can still enjoy ponies being pink and talking. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand it's not the reality. The difficulty is with all these image things at the moment is that line is blurred. So I think that's the key to it. We need to let people know the difference. But we'll never get rid of it. I think if there's a magazine full of ordinary people, nobody would buy them. What would be the point?